Cindy, they say National Court Reporting and Captioning Week. They're doing the proclamation on February 5th at 7:45 a.m.
Oh,
So, I don't know why they always have it so early.
into it.
Well, it's on the courthouse steps.
Elliot Villa?
Yes.
Up here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Vela, if you'll come down, please. Hello. Hi. I wanted to let you know, your attorney let us know today that he is actually in Kerr County. So we're gonna bring you back tomorrow and you'll get a chance to confer with him then. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right, we'll see you then. All right, just have a seat and then they'll take you back. All right, Ruben Rendon, if you'll come down.
So just for the court's information, we did have a plea bargain that he wanted to take, and now he's changed his mind. And so I guess we'll just set it for trial.
All right, are you available tomorrow for jury trial?
Really, I'm leaving on Thursday.
Oh, I think this should be short trial. Yes, sir.
Okay, then I'll be here tomorrow. We're set for trial tomorrow.
If I may.
Yes.
ask a question. I was interested in seeing if I could get granted probation was why.
Oh, no. So let me explain something to you. The agreement, do you need this?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
I don't interfere with your plea negotiations. Sometimes people want what they want. Sometimes people want a dismissal. I cannot force the state to give you a dismissal. Sometimes people want probation. I cannot force the state to give you probation. What I do in my role is if there's an agreement that is worked out, I will look over the documents that are submitted to me and I'll make a decision on whether or not I think the negotiated plea is appropriate.
Right.
And so the state did offer a silent offer, and I've tried to explain it to him, but I don't know if he's.
All right, you know what a silent offer means? That means that the state is not saying, they're not going to be making any comments on what the court does with your sentencing. But my understanding is they're not offering you probation. So that's where we are. All right. So we'll be back tomorrow for jury trial. And the court will not, yes.
And may I just go ahead and go follow through with the agreement then?
No, if you have a chance, Mr. Garcia, if you could discuss it with him just a little bit more so I can be satisfied that this is truly what he wants to do.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 011707, State of Texas versus Ruben Rendon Jr. Could I have, right, could I have parties announced? Oh, and Richard, you're over here. For the state. Defense.
Richard Garcia for the defense, ready, Your Honor?
And are you Mr. Rendon?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rendon, did you review the application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes.
You're charged with robbery. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Do you understand? Counsel, is there an application for deferred adjudication or no?
We just put one in, Judge.
All right. And is the state silent on that application or no?
No. Silent on the deferred, but they're
Recommending
recommending probation.
All right, thank you. All right, did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand? Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor. And when you have a minute, I would like to put some information on the record.
Is it related to competency?
It's related not to competency because I find him competent. It's related to the prior offers that were offered to him.
Sure.
And
All right.
Can I do it now? Or you tell me when.
All right, thank you. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is silent on your application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision, and there's to be restitution, if any, to the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 10 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 200 hours of community service restitution, no contact with the complainant or Circle K at 1002 Castroville, San Antonio, Texas, 78237. Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest. Your
Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. And counsel, if you would like, you can put what you wanted to put. The court has reviewed states exhibits 1 and attachments. The court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed to sentencing?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
All right, anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Your Honor, well, the incident was at a Circle K and it was a beer run.
All right, how old are you?
45.
So you have a robbery case because you wanted beer.
I was wrong. I just want to be clean and sober and not break the law. That's all I want to do, Your Honor.
No. So you picked up a robbery case because you wanted beer.
And I just lost my dad and I was coping the wrong way with alcohol and drugs.
All right, so here's the thing. Everybody, I will tell you, every human being who is sitting here in this courtroom today has lost somebody. Can you imagine what this world will be if everybody goes out to do a beer run? Now, what type of beer was it?
I believe it was Miller Lite.
All right. State, what is Mr. Rendon's criminal history? Do you have criminal history?
Yes.
And what is your criminal history? Yes. Have you been to prison before?
Yes.
What have you been to prison for?
Possession of drugs.
All right, anything else?
No.
Do you have any violent history?
No.
Any assaults, any other robberies, any other thefts?
No.
So it's just drugs? So- State?
And I do have one DWI from back then.
Okay. Is there
That's
anything?
correct, Judge. I mean, he has driving while intoxicated, possession, less than 1 gram, and then also possession of marijuana. He'd been arrested, for assault back in 2018. Criminal trespass, driving while license, and other drug charges, but the only convictions are the DWI, less than 1 gram, and then also the possession case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
That's Your Honor.
All right, so I'm going to give you a choice. These are your choices. I could grant your application for deferred adjudication. If for any reason you end up being revoked from that deferred adjudication, you're looking at potentially 20 years in the prison. If I were to deny your application for deferred adjudication, and if for some reason you were revoked, the most you would be looking at is 10 years. You know yourself better than I do, better than your attorney does or the state does. So if you want the deferred adjudication, I will give you the deferred adjudication. But if you were to get revoked, you're looking at 20 years in the prison. So which do you prefer?
Do the probation and I'll behave myself.
No, do you want the deferred where if you were revoked, you're potentially looking at 20 years? Or do you want the conviction where the most anyone could sentence you to would be 10 years?
So remember, we went over the deferred right now, and deferred, if you've completed satisfactorily, you won't have a conviction on your record. But if you want to go the deferred route and you mess it up, you could go up to 20 years. However, if you don't want to take that risk and you want the conviction today, the most you could do is 10 years. You will, like the judge said, you know yourself better than we do.
I'd rather have the deferred and so that I don't have that on my record.
Well, here's the thing. It's always going to be on your record. It's just not going to be a conviction. So if somebody's looking at your record, it's going to show that you were placed on deferred adjudication for robbery. Even if you successfully complete it, it's still going to show robbery, dismiss, deferred adjudication.
And then just the conviction. The conviction.
Okay. The court will find you guilty. The court will sentence you to 10 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 8 years. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. So when you were using, what type of drugs were you using?
It was meth.
All right. We're going to do a TAP evaluation and felony drug court evaluation in custody. That will be completed before the week is out.
Okay.
Follow recommendations of TAP if he's not accepted into felony drug court. There's to be restitution, if any, to the complainant. Counsel, if for any reason you believe the restitution is not what it should be, you can ask for a restitution hearing and we'll have a hearing.
Thank you, Judge.
And there's to be no contact with the complainant, and there's to be no contact with Circle K. 200 hours of community service restitution. How far did you go in school?
I graduated from high school.
All right, what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
I'm gonna try to go back to Spice of Life Catering and work for them.
All right, awesome. Spice of Life Catering, they do have great food. I've been there as well, where we've had events. Their food is awesome.
Mike Bomberg is, I know, Mike Mr. Bomberg.
All right, so there's going to be 200 hours of community service restitution. 200 hours will be waived if he obtains some sort of trade school certificate or goes back to school. So if you want to do a culinary degree thing, if you do that, the 200 hours will be waived. Who's your support system here in San Antonio?
Where
I mean, who do you have that you can depend on, that you can call up? If
actually my ex-wife has been there for me.
Okay. Do you have any family here?
My dad was my closest, but like I said, I just lost him. And I'm just going through the mourning part. It's only been a year.
All right, that can be, I know that can be very hard. I've been there. All right, and then there's going to be 90 sober meetings in 90 days. Do you have any children?
Yeah.
What are their ages?
My oldest is 28. And my 3 sons are 24, 22, and 19.
Do you have any grandchildren?
Yes.
And what are their ages?
They were 2 of them were just born. Spencer is my oldest grandson, and Damon was just born but going on a year ago. So
Okay. All right, so there'll be no unsupervised contact with minors. Once you are clean and sober, then the court will consider allowing you to have contact, okay? And contact that's unsupervised. All right, probation, is there anything else he needs? Thank you. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
it's just so about when would I be able to be released to the free world?
Probably next week,
Okay.
but if they say that you need inpatient treatment, you're going to go into inpatient treatment.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right, we can go off the record. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. Obviously, probation wants you to have, obviously, the state wants you to have probation. I think that maybe you can be successful at it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed to it, okay? So you need to communicate with your probation officer. If you feel you're going to use, let probation know. I normally don't revoke people because they call probation and say, I'm going to use. What I try to do is, what can we do to help you not use? All right. If you feel they're not addressing any issues you have, you can always come back to court. All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you. Your
Thank you, Judge.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you. Court is calling 2024 CR 4426 State of Texas versus Andrew Garza. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Andrew Fred, Mr. Garza.
And are you Mr. Garza?
Yes, ma'am.
You're charged with organized retail theft, $2,500 to $30,000. As a state jail felony, range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, yeah.
Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea, there's a $500 fine and the state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is recommending your community supervision be for a term of 2 years and there be no contact with Sam's Club. Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
All conflict.
Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, just said that my client was and is being accused of buying certain things and selling the flea market. Says he was how he was making a living. It's going to be difficult for him to pay the fine, being as that he's not going to the flea markets and not going to be doing anything like that anymore. So we'd ask if the court could probate some of the fine, and he's not working anymore. Is that correct, Mr. Garza?
Disabled.
So he's not working anymore. So any financial obligations are going to be a problem for him going forward.
All right, so how long have you been disabled?
Oh, like 20 years.
All right, but he still was able to do this, even though you were disabled, you were still able to commit this offense?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then it says in the stipulations that you were telling the person how to steal. Oh, it says, during the transactions, S1 provided detective with advice on how to steal items in higher volume and made requests for specific items.
We would agree, Judge, he did make, according to the evidence, he made requests for specific items. I would say that it's not how, but he requested which items to steal. So instead of the how, it'd be the what. That we admit to that, and that is contained in the police report. That is my client's understanding.
Yes.
All right, you're the reason that when people go to the store, that's why everything is behind lock and key. That's a problem, that everything is behind lock and key. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's because of you, because you're selling stolen merchandise. So how are you supporting yourself?
And Social Security, disability.
All right, the court is going to sentence you to $500 fine. That'll be probated 3 years, deferred adjudication. Is there a restitution to Sam's Club or no?
No.
All right. There's to be no contact. Hear me clearly. No contact with Sam's Club or Walmart. Proof of employment or Social Security within 30 days. If you don't provide that, you're going to need to work, and there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. I don't know if the theft course will help you, but theft course. And he needs to do the theft course with, I think Cats has a theft course. He needs to do the theft course with Cats. And that's theft course 1 and 2. And there's to be 100 hours of community service restitution. Probation, is there anything else? Thank you. Field visits 1 time per month until further notice. All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor, that's it.
All right, in this court, to be successful in probation, communication is key. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Your Honor.
You're welcome. Do better.
Oh, yeah.
Any first, bro?
Vashawn, when probation visits, can you make sure they check for items and make sure there are no items? Thank you. Are you all ready on Alexander Aguilar?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Aguilar, come down. All right, so where are we on discovery?
Your Honor, at least from the state's review of the file, it does look like we may be missing some outstanding lab work.
Okay.
It looks like it has been submitted. I just need to follow up on that. And I don't believe defense has been able to download it yet.
There's a lot of discovery on her. I did file a motion this morning for, and I don't know if you want me to go into that yet or not, but I am asking the court to appoint an investigator. I have worked with Linus Investigations before.
Mhm.
And I'm asking the court to appoint them to assist me because there is a significant amount of discovery.
Okay.
And obviously it involves a lot of witnesses, and so I want him to be able to assist me in that regard as well.
All right, and then the other question I have is there CPS records involved in this?
Your Honor, that's requested.
I haven't filed a motion for that, Judge, but I will. I'll file my motion today, Judge, if you want me to file the motion for
Oh,
discovery,
they'll do a,
protective order.
yes. Okay, so CPS records are in the state's custody?
They are. We can do that.
All right, thank you.
Would you like that done today or when we come back?
If we could do it today, if you all are able to do it today. That way I can sign it and then you all can arrange for the transfer, yes. All right, this is gonna come back for discovery. We're gonna bring it back for discovery on March 10th. Does anyone have? I'm so sorry, I get confused by the dates for spring break. Is that spring break time?
That's exactly what I'm looking I'm looking at, Judge.
Well, I tell you what, it could be that week, so I'm gonna move it.
Check right now,
No,
Judge.
no, I'll move it for March 6th. Deputy Laura, he's coming back on March 6th for a discovery.
Yeah, it's at March 10th, Judge. Yeah, yep, it's 10 through
I think
15.
people had been saying
Yeah.
that. So I've already signed the motion. If you want to speak with the clerks, and they'll make sure you have a copy of the motion for the investigator.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. All right, Jerry McGee. Court is calling 2024 CR 007651 State versus Jerry Kyler McGee. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense,
Ron Ross.
and are you Mr. McGee?
Yes,
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
we do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented? I only have a count one.
Judge, he's pleading to 2025 CR 00220.
Yes, that's what I have.
And
And
you called the robbery case, and that's gonna be.
all right, this is the wrong indictment for that. No problem. It happens. And if I could have
I got
that's the
it.
wrong docket sheet for it too.
Okay.
All right, we're back on the record then in 2025 CR 000220. And state you state you're proceeding on count one only?
Correct, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams as a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years in the prison. The state is taking in consideration 2024 CR 007651, 2024 AL 001409, NIGHTMAC number 751980, 751981, 751982, 751983, 751984. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
Defense is at the plea.
Yes, it is, Judge.
State is at the plea.
Yes, sir.
Then to count 1, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Do you all wish to proceed with sentencing, or would you like a PSI?
We could go forward in sentencing. I think you're gonna waive the PSI. That's when the probation comes and interviews you. We can go forward right now without that.
You don't want probation to come?
No, according to this, the state is opposing your application. If you would like, what I could do, if there are witnesses you would like to appear on your behalf. You don't have any witnesses?
Yeah, I just
Just yourself, right?
Just myself, yes, ma'am.
So we can go for it, Judge.
Are you sure?
You wanna go for it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I represent myself well and I have, good answers to probably what you're gonna ask me, so I think I deserve probation, I do, so I think. it's-
All right, so this is what I think would be
Yes.
best for him and his best interest. One, I think it would be at best for you to discuss things with him. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cases that are being taken in consideration. I don't know what his criminal history is. So if you all want, what I can do is I can recall this back for later in the week. And you can discuss with him and what his testimony may or may not be, or if he wants more witnesses. So we can come back on Thursday.
Why don't we do that?
All right.
I think that'd be a good idea.
So Deputy Laura, he's going to be back on Thursday. So that'll be the 6th.
No, Judge, let's go ahead and do a PSI.
All right. Well, if we're doing a PSI, then that's going to be 8 weeks from now.
Okay.
You don't wanna do it? Okay, we'll come back on Thursday.
All right. So we'll be coming back on February 6th. All right. So we'll be back on February 6th.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Sir.
Okay, yeah. This has a different case number on it. It doesn't have the CR, it has the PF number. Court is calling 2024 CR 01273, State versus Cody Kraus. All right, could I have the parties announced for the record for the state
Opinion for the state of Texas.
defense?
Mark Darling.
And are you Cody Kraus?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Sitting only on count 4 of the indictment, we will waive counts 1, 2, and 3.
No objections, Judge.
All right, and count 4, you're charged with the offense of attempt to commit a burglary of a habitation. That's a 3rd-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And counsel, is he applying for deferred adjudication as well or no?
He's applying for both. The state is opposed to the deferred and silent on the regular probation.
All right. All right. Did you understand that the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 4. Punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state is silent on your application for your community supervision. The state opposes your application for deferred adjudication. This is run concurrent with 2024 CC 742862. The state will take in consideration 2024 CC 742860, 2024 AL 004803, and there's to be no contact with the complainant. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Defense, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
Then to the offense in count 4, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Counsel, if you would like, I could set this for a PSI. It'll be 8 weeks, or if you would like to set it sooner and he could have any witnesses he want.
As a matter of fact, there is a witness that I intend to call. He has an advocate out there that's, I'd like to set it sooner. Do you want me to contact the advocate and then subsequently contact the court for the purposes of setting the PSI? or-
I mean, if you want a PSI, then what I'll have to do is it's going to be an 8-week reset because the PSI is through probation. I have no authority to get it done any quicker because they have other people who are waiting for the PSI. Or if you all would like to waive PSI, I can reset it for about a week or 2 weeks. So you can have whatever witnesses you would want to be brought in. And then state from you, I would need the criminal history.
Well,
And if you would like to have the complainant come in, the complainant can come in.
can I clarify something, Judge?
Sure.
If that's the case, I don't even know if Mr. Kraus
qualifies for a PR bond in the interim, or if the court is inclined to give him a PR bond on this case. I didn't make any representations to him about the likelihood or even his eligibility for PR bond.
Okay.
But
I would have him interviewed for one, but I can tell you, based upon what these charges are, it's likely that you will not receive a PR bond because these are assaultive charges. And I know the state is only proceeding on one, but it's a violation of bond protective order. That is listed.
Judge, I think what we want to do is just proceed with the criminal history and presentation of witness.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll come back. I'll bring it back on February 10th, and counsel, if you want it brought back sooner than February 10th, which would be Monday, just let the court know and we'll make sure we squeeze you in.
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Appreciate that.
And if counsel, if for any reason your witness is not available on that day, just let the court know prior to, if you can.
Thank you, Judge. Good.
Okay.
Well, that means we're coming back on the 10th.
All right, court is calling 2024 CR 638502, and that's -02. Could state versus Arturo Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Mr. Kyle Simpson for Mr. Martinez.
And are you Mr. Martinez? You don't need to speak up, okay?
Yeah.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor. Count one, but with a lesser included of attempted theft, 2,500 to 30,000.
No objection.
Counsel, did you fill out the application?
You know what, I just,
Thank you.
case number by chance.
Yes, it's DC 2024 CR 6385-02. Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted theft of property? Sorry, I have to write this in as I go. Theft of property, $2,500 up to $30,000 as a Class A misdemeanor. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
The range of punishment for that offense is up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication? If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to $10,000 fine. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right, according to the plea, the state is proceeding on count 1, and they're proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted theft as a Class A misdemeanor. They're asking that there be a $500 fine. They're recommending deferred adjudication, and there's to be restitution to Modesto Stephen Salazar of $2,000 and upfront restitution due at the time of plea of $3,000 to Modesto Stephen Salazar. All right, so
For a total of 5,000.
total of 5,000.
Yes.
All right. So according to your plea, you were to pay upfront restitution of $2,000, and that would leave you a balance of $2,000.
3,000.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. There would be an yes.
That LSU math.
Hey,
isn't it?
Judge.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. So you understand, as a part of your plea bargain agreement, you were to pay $3,000 in restitution to Modesto Salazar. It's the court's understanding that that has been paid, correct? From
Correct.
all sides?
Correct.
So that leaves you of a balance as part of your plea bargain agreement of $2,000 to Modesto Salazar. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that to be the plea?
Yes.
All right, outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, and no contact with the complainant. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor. We'd like to speak to some of those after.
All right. Then to the lesser included offense of theft 2,500 to 30,000 as a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Yes.
Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Judge. We would ask the court to consider either waiving or holding in abeyance the fine in this case. Restitution is an issue. He was able to come up with 3,000. He did qualify for a court-appointed attorney, so money is tight. We'd ask the court to consider doing that. And then he's also 67, correct? 68. And he is handicapped. He has issues with his knees. He's currently in recovery. And we'd ask the court to, either waive or hold in abeyance some of the community service hours. I think there's 150 that were recommended.
Okay. So perhaps you can explain to me. This person brought a vehicle to you to repair.
Yeah.
You didn't repair it. You gave it to somebody else and let them drive around. What were you thinking?
No, the car didn't have no sticker, no license plate. The car didn't start or nothing. The car didn't run. And I don't know how come, and he told me he gave me $5,000 and he didn't give me nothing.
I can speak.
Yes.
I've been trying to convince Mr. Martinez to try this case, and I think it's more of a civil case.
Mhm.
He took the possession of the vehicle from the customer, and he
Okay.
had it for a long time. The customer became upset. He was doing this, he's a do body work,
But
correct? And so there was an allegation that he's not a mechanic, he just does body work. There was an allegation that the guy paid him for a transmission. He disputes that. I've tried to get him to try the case. He didn't want to do that. He didn't want to accept.
But why
the
didn't he
risk.
just give the complainant his vehicle back?
It was stolen. So the guy that was where they were gonna work on the vehicle was a secondary person, like a third party's house. And it's not in the best area. And the guy had it outside on the street and the vehicle was stolen. Or so Mr. Martinez tells me the vehicle was stolen outside.
So why didn't he just call the complainant and say, hey, this is what happened. You gave me the vehicle. It's not the type of work I do. I gave it to this other person without your permission. Sorry for that. And
The
the
other
vehicle
person,
got stolen.
the complainant knew that it was at the other location.
Mhm.
He was aware of that. I mean, I think it's a civil case. But he's happy with the resolution and didn't want to take the risk at trial.
So are you employed?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Body work, any body work.
Okay. Here's the thing, you cannot. If somebody, and I know you probably know this, but if someone comes to you with a vehicle and says, are you able to repair this? And you say yes, and you tell them how much it's going to cost. You don't get to keep their vehicle for a year, and you certainly don't get to turn it over to third parties. And I'm assuming these third parties that you say you turned it over to, none of them are a dealership. It's some random person.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that. And it says that that person has been waiting for their car for over a year. It's not allowed. And you're still doing body work. So what have you learned from all of this?
Not to be taking customers' car like that, doing cars for nobody, only for the shop where I work.
All right. So why would it take this for you to understand that? How old are you?
I'm gonna be 68.
This-
Steve was a real good friend of mine. I've done work before for him almost for free, for nothing.
Mhm.
This one, he told me, do it, I said, I'll do it too. I'm gonna help you out, just pay me for the material, for the paint and everything, because he would help me out, but he didn't pay me nothing. I was the one that started sending everything. He was ready for paint when they stole it.
All right. I think for me to unpack that suitcase, it probably wouldn't turn out well for you. So this is what the court is going to do. There's a $500 fine. There's going to be restitution of $2,000 to Modesto Stephen, that's with the V as in Victor, Salazar. There's to be proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no contact with Modesto Stephen Salazar. There's to be 150 hours of community service restitution. I'm gonna order the cat's theft course 1 and 2. And once that's completed, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. Field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. And then probation, if you could go to his place of employment and see what's happening out there. And that'll be 1 field visit to place of employment.
I think it's in Kerrville. Is that right?
Correct.
Probation, there's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person and regular random UAs. Probation, is there anything else? Thank you. 2 years deferred adjudication.
Judge, one other issue.
Mhm.
He does have tickets that he had bought when did you buy
About a
them?
year ago in payments.
He's supposed to go on a trip for Valentine's Day, taking his wife on a cruise on the 13th.
All right, state he's going on a cruise.
When days is it?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be back. 4 days.
I mean, state, do you have an objection to him going on a cruise?
So, Judge,
It's not a ferry, so I don't think there are any vehicles on there.
don't.
All right, he's allowed to go on the Valentine cruise. And who is performing on the Valentine cruise? Usually it's
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, usually there's some singer that's performing on the cruise. All right, is there anything else you need from the court?
No, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And then we will be back tomorrow.